Thank you very much, Mr. William. Oh, thank you very much, Mr. William. I've been having Mr. Van der Vaart for his subject. Mr. Van, are you with us?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, sorry I joined late. Last week, last class, one of my major key take home was concerning maintenances using CMMS. Why is the importance of CMMS? I came to understand that some of these records that we manually keep, if we keep them with CMMS is better because over a long period, we tend to lose some of these information. But if it is on the CMMS, it's very easy for you to track back your records, to generate a report for years back, and also it was one of my major key take home for last week class. So that was what I actually take home.
All right. Thank you very much. Mr. David, since you are on, please give us your take on for the last class. Mr. David. Mr. David Thomas. Oh, sis is out. Okay, I'll be having Mrs. Amira for our I take home. Miss Amira, are you with us?
Hi, Miracle. Hello,
good
everyone.
evening.
Good evening. It's not the. You know what? Please, could you just circle back to me next? I can't talk right now. Please, just next. Thank you.
Mr. Innocent, can go ahead. Mr. Innocent. Oh. Mr. Innocent, your ace is up. You can go ahead.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. You can go ahead with your
My take home for last class was on maintenance planning and record.
Is anyone speaking? I can't hear.
Mr. Innocent, we can't hear you. It seems it's as if
you want me to do a recap?
So since the facilitator is here with us, I'll be handing over to him. So good evening, Engineer Kolakwa.
Hi, welcome. Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
Good evening. Please confirm you can hear me.
Sir. I can hear you, sir.
Okay, so good evening, happy new month, and happy 65th, Independence Day celebration. So the 65th year Independence Day celebration, of Nigeria. I hope we're able to catch some rest today. We're able to, appreciate our great country, Nigeria, and pray for its, future self-sustenance or sufficiency. All right. So this evening, we're going to be looking at health, safety, and environment. Of course, this is not exhaustive because this is just a 2-hour course. However, we want to have some appreciation of health, safety, and environment, with the people. Our major focus will be around health and safety. My name is Kolakpo Bolade, and I'll be leading you on this course. Next slide, please. For some benefit and continual improvements, you can add me on LinkedIn, Engineer Kolakpo Bolade, and I think we can expand the network, the connection, and we can take it even up beyond this class, as a Max-Migold alumni. So if we check or we ask ourselves, what is occupational health and safety? Why are we discussing about occupational health and safety? Why is the health of the workers or the health within the workplace so important to us? And why are we looking at safety? Please, you may decide to go on slideshow and put this on the full screen. So we put it on presentation mode at the bottom. Thank you. So health is about the wellness or soundness of the body. It's beyond the physical.
Program. I could, right?
Please, can we be on mute? Please, can we be on mute? All right, thank you. So it's beyond the physicality itself. All right, health and safety are both beyond physicality. But for health, we put an emphasis, or we lay an emphasis on the mental and the social well-being of the people, and not just mere absence of disease, injury, or infirmity. So health is not just a condition where you are physically fit. Please, you need to be socially fit in terms of integration and mentally fit in terms of thinking. All right. At work, as facility managers, we need to always appear, we need to always show up in a state that is coherent, in a state that, put us forward as someone, as people that are in their complete state of well-being in terms of physical capability, mental awareness, and social well-being. Your ability to be able to stay healthy is beyond avoidance of injury. Your ability to make people stay healthy is beyond them not falling down or sitting on a nice chair. The condition, situation, and in fact, the appreciation of the environment matters to all workers and even visitors. All right. And this can go a long way in determining if physically they will not be injured, if mentally they will be balanced, and if socially they can integrate. What does it mean in layman's language? As a facility manager, you must provide ventilation, illumination, and restroom facilities that are adequate. Again, what does this mean? That whether it is through the use of the HVAC system or air conditioning system, or the use of natural ventilation, the working area, operational space, facility, workspace of the people must be conducive with adequate oxygen inflow. Ensure that that place is not stuffy, is not windy, is just normal. Lighting in form of illumination, making sure that we have adequate lights, people can see without straining or stressing themselves. People should be able to have access to sanitation and hygiene facilities. The restroom should be neat, clean, and disinfected enough every time. There is no point, sir. There is no point, man, coming to work for you, then going home with toilet disease. There is no point coming to work for you and having to, hold the bladder all day or urinate around the environment because you've not provided a good, usable restroom. Conditions such as overcrowding, temperature, cleanliness of the workspace must be looked into, meaning that you must provide a work environment that is not overcrowded, that is not dirty, that's not too cold or too hot. Somebody may argue at this point that what if that is the size of the office? So your office is just a 2 or 3 bedroom flat, and your boss decided to employ a lot of people, including salespeople, 20, 30 people in a 3 bedroom flat. It's not a problem. But if you are the facility person, you should be able to suggest that because this place is small, then some people don't need to come to the office, especially if their work is not office-based. If you are working in a place, maybe like a school, and classrooms, students, because of profitability, pupils or students are just too many than what we should have. Of course, it will affect the teaching aids and capability of the children, but also it affects the health and safety, and in fact, evacuation in case of emergency. So possibility of stampede is increased when an area is overcrowded. And it's our job as facility managers to ensure that considerations for health and safety are integrated into the workspace. Daily practices in the work space, in the work environment, e.g. in a particular area such as water treatment plants where you have handling of chemicals, such as chemical store where chemicals need to be stored, offloaded, or distributed for use. We have a duty of care. We have an opportunity in that area to ensure that the correct or right standard operating procedures are in place. Identification and mitigation of hazards sits within our purview. So there must be a procedure for us to deal with hazards. And it starts with hazard identification. You don't go into the effect and management process, the EMP, without first dealing with the identification. So we need to identify correctly, categorize the hazards for us to be able to give the right treatment. Hazard is anything that can cause harm, injury, ill health, death, disease, infirmity, name it, to anybody. And we've expanded that to also have an impact on the environment, on the assets, reputation, or security of the workplace. So anything that can cause harm, injury, infirmity, disease, sickness, downtime in terms of absenteeism, even fatality is an hazard. And when we extend that to even the environmental hazards or threats in the workplace, we then say that the hazard is anything that can cause harm, either to people, environment, assets, reputation, or security. So lack of control in the workplace or loss of control. I said two different things now. It can be a lack, which means that doesn't exist, or is insufficient. That's a lack. Or it can be a loss. It slipped from our control. It escaped from us. These are things that can lead to accidents. And these are things we need to watch. Lack of control, as well as loss of control of a workplace or work procedure, including the health risks, can lead directly to ill health or give rise to conditions that will lead to ill health. Conditions, unsafe conditions. So what's our takeout from this slide? As FMs, facility managers, our work goes beyond housekeeping. So people even feel that facility management is about housekeeping. No. I'm a certified grade member of the Institute of Workplace and Facility Management in the UK. And I can tell you for free on this call that the essentials required, the inputs, the contribution required from facility managers goes beyond cleanliness, layout arrangements, and maybe functionality of the space. I'll say another way. Your work, your duty as a facility manager is beyond housekeeping. The place has been swept, has been mopped. The toilet has been washed. It's beyond even availability of work tools. Oh, the chairs are there. The ACs are working. It's beyond workplace arrangement or layout. Okay, the tables have been arranged. No, or the food is ready. That's not your work alone. Depending on where you work. The availability, reliability, and maintainability of the facility assets, including the building, the property, falls under our purview, as well as the ability of the people to come to work safely and go home safely. Let me merge this. Availability, reliability, maintainability, sustainability, and sustainability of the workplace sits with us. I've mentioned 5 things, right? Availability, reliability. What did I say again? Safety, sustainability.
Sustainability.
Sustainability. And I mentioned maintainability, maintenance. So I've said equipment has to be available. It has to be reliable. It has to be well maintained. It has to be safe. It has to be sustainable. That's what I've just said. All right. So if you have someone that doesn't come to class, especially I think I have 3 classes that I take, per quarter. If you have people that don't come to class, please, at least for my class, tell them to come. I'll say a lot of things you won't find, on the slide. Because what we do here is not theory. What I'm giving to you is a 15 plus years experience on health and safety and engineering management. Next slide, please. Miracle, let's move. Next slide. So, what does health and safety really mean to you? WHO says that occupational health is the promotion and maintenance of the highest degree of physical, mental, and social well-being of workers and, of course, of visitors in all occupations, and cover the overall state of the person's physical, mental, and social well-being at work. And again, as a result of their work. Again, there is a cap. So whatever happened to you because you went to club is not occupational health and safety. That hangover you had because you did not sleep well, you were watching movies, is not health and safety, it's not occupational health and safety. We said as a result of their work. That's sleeping or dozing on the sharing that's your experience because you drink late in the evening or late at night. It's not the result of your work. Don't tell me it's because you are stressed. They want to kill you. So you now use trophy to mix the sorrow or the sadness. No. What we are strictly saying here, guys, is that as a result of the work you're doing, is then tied into occupational health, which we as facility managers are trying to promote and maintain. It involves preventing you from falling sick, ill health, controlling the hazard and the risks, of identifying the hazards and controlling the risks, adapting your work or the machine to yourself, or the work to the people and people to the work, economics, man to machine, machine to man. Examples of workplace-related conditions are air quality, use of chemicals, exposure to the chemicals and biological hazard, noise, vibration, environmental issues, stress, manual handling, working at height, hot work, horseplay, lot of things that we can look at, including smoking. So, ladies and gentlemen, occupational health is important to us as FMs. And you cannot break in, whether you are already a practicing FM or you're trying to break into the FM space. You cannot break in. I can't sit in your interview, or I can't, or no, you cannot express yourself as an FM if you don't even understand that as part of your responsibility, the workplace should be safe and healthy. Next slide, please. Safe and healthy. We've been talking about healthy. We want to promote, we want to maintain conditions that give physical, mental, and social well-being of the people to the people. All right. But what does safety then mean? What is safety? I said it should be safe and healthy. Or better put, it should be healthy and safe. Because it is when you are alive that you can walk. You are not walking to stay alive. You are alive, that's why you can walk. So it is health and safety in that priority. All right. I see some people they call it EHS, they call it HSE. It's just synonym. It doesn't matter. All right. So I won't be in that school of thoughts. This is my 16th year as an health and safety professional. 15 years with a license. So I cannot sit here and then tell you that, oh, EHS, HSC, SHE, they're just synonym. There's nothing. What is important is the priority the company, the organization is giving to those three things. To be honest with you, I've worked in about 6 industries. No apology. And I can say for free that a lot of organizations put more weight on safety more than the health. I put it another way. People, companies are promoting safety because they know that they want you to work. They want to keep you safe to work. But I'm telling you that you yourself should know that you should be healthy so you can work. If you fall sick tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, they will replace you. If I don't fall sick, just pretend. Just call them that you will not be available for 1 week. Just pretend. Then that's when you see that you are replaceable. There's nothing like foreman. I got to know that late, but now I know. They're not like foreman. One person cannot do foreman's work. You can be highly skilled, all right? But know when you should prioritize your health over the work. Not because the work is not important, but your health is important. It's more important. So safety is freedom from danger or risk of danger, and always associated with injury and matters. That's to do with everything in your workplace. I won't read anything here. Everything. Hazard is present everywhere. Hello. In everything you're doing, there is something that can cause harm or injury. There's something we call LOC, the loss of control. There is always an event, a top event, that will happen within a normal operation that can lead to loss of control, LOC. And what do? We identify what those losses could be, mentally or mental identification, or we do a safety case. We write them down. Using the hazard effects management process approach, we build a safety case. And we say that, okay, during the discharge of fuel into a storage tank, what can go wrong? Then we build a story. I've been doing health and safety for 16 years now, since 2009, March. So it will be 17 years very soon. As soon as I left uni, I think we started. When I started NYSC in 2009 at Wando Marketing PLC, thanks to Wando, I was thrown straight into health and safety as against my wish of project engineering. And today I can say without fear or favor that occupational health and safety, and in fact sustainability in Nigeria today, is something we have developed and built together. Your freedom, your escape from danger, hazard, risks of danger, is what we call safety. And how can that happen? Imagine, we call it the tiger. Imagine where you are. Imagine your bedroom. Imagine that bedroom actually has a nice cat, tiger, staying there. And you are just outside the room. The door is locked, yeah? And you are made aware that, oh, when you're not at home, a tiger came in. So a tiger is in your room, the door is locked, but you are in the building. How can you prevent yourself, protect yourself, save yourself from the claws of the tiger? Ladies and gentlemen, people went to work in a particular building on the island. From a 6-story building or 6 floors, and they were doing their work, senior guys, and of course, interns, from entry level and what have you, and they perceive heavy smoke coming into their office space. Lights went off, Normally, a massive black start should start in 2-3 minutes or less. The emergency generator did not start. Suddenly, the rooms, the offices, the office space, the office areas were filled with, or was filled with smoke, 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 and smoke. They tried to get out of that building, and they took a staircase that led them even more into where the smoke is coming from. There was fire. People got stranded, they could not go. Some decided to go through the window. Some had no escape route. Some had underlying health condition, maybe asthma or what have you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in a building in Lagos in the month of September 2025, and over 20 people lost their life in a highly classed, expensive office building on the highland, the street of Lagos. Finland to us. And we have lots of buildings in Lagos as we speak that have similar, very similar, pathetic conditions. And we go to church and say, or we go to mosques and we pray. It won't be me. It's not my portion. So it's whose portion? That you keep people and you have zero knowledge or zero plan, or if you have the plan, zero implementation. If you have implemented, zero effectiveness, and you kill people in a building, you kill them, including IT students, including returning nursing mother, including guys that have become directors, including guys that have brain CFAs for the investments, United Capital guys, UBA guys. And you are here still trying to tell the story of what? Of what happened in a building you failed to consider the safety of the people. In the UK, somebody will be in jail. Not somebody, some people will be in jail. In the UK, whoever manage Afilan Tower will not manage anything again. License suspended. First thing first. No story. CEO reporting to station, to police station. Chief Risk Officer or Chief Safety Officer behind the bars. Court proceedings activated. Company under bankruptcy. You pay. But because we're in Nigeria, anything goes. Come to Max-Migold and even understand what health and safety is. Fire safety is too expensive. You can't come. The engineer. I'm an engineer. My name is Engineer Kola Kobaladi, registered mechanical. So it's not about that. Am I back now?
Yes, sir, you are back.
Yes, sir, you
So I
are
was talking
back.
about flaws.
Yes, sir, you're back.
There are flaws everywhere. Thank you.
Yes,
And
I
we are
am back.
here morning on social media as if something strange, as if that was an act of God. Safety is freedom from danger. Risks identified. and most times is associated with injuries and deaths, and can be due to the construction design, just like what we have in Afriland, can be due to the handling of dangerous chemicals, including the siting of the battery inverters at the basement of that building. All right. So some of us, even at home, you want to do solar. All right. The battery is actually in your room. Continue. Well, so when there is battery explosion or leak or something, how do you even go out? The lifting equipment, training of the work of the employees, means of access or egress at the workplace, including what happened at Afriland Tower, use of PPE, lack of control of the procedures. Next slide, please. I've said that hazard is something that is a sort of danger that can cause harm. It can be an unsafe act based on what people are doing in action, or an unsafe condition or situation based on the process, the procedure, the culture, the equipment, the environment, the management system, and what have you. So a risk is the measure of the likelihood that the hazard will happen and the consequence or severity if it happens. Is the analysis. So the risk is, is this thing, does it have any risks? Ask yourself, can it cause harm? If yes, is it likely? If yes, then it is a risk. So the assessment of that risk is now the multiplication in case you are doing the quantitative approach, 5 by 5 risk matrix. When we say that risk assessment is when you multiply how likely the hazard will turn into a consequence and how severe the consequence will be. Is the analysis of the consequence of occurrence. So is the analysis of the likelihood of occurrence and severity of the situation. In risk management, we ask 5 questions. What can go wrong? How likely? How seriously? How many people will be involved? What mitigation controls do we have in place? I repeat it. For risk management, for you to say, I'm actually thinking if this thing can lead to a harm, if this thing is of high risk or low risk, ask yourself, what can go wrong? What if it happen? What can go wrong? How likely? That's the probability. How serious? So probability of occurrence. How likely is it that it will go wrong? If it then goes wrong, how seriously will the consequence be? Now, because emphasis on people, we now say that how many people are exposed to this hazard? So how many people will be killed or injured or maimed? Then lastly, what are those things that we are doing right now that will make us safer, that will make us escape, that will reduce either the likelihood or the severity? I said likelihood, or I didn't say and. Well, in most cases, it doesn't reduce the two. If you wear PPE, you are working at heights, you identify that you can fall from heights. You now wear body harness and helmet. A body harness does not prevent you from falling. It only prevents you from falling to the ground, or what? Based on the length of the layard that you are using. So the fall will happen. All right. So likelihood of occurrence. If it's likely and you don't reduce the likelihood, then it will still happen. But the severity will be minimized. You get that? So the body harness, the helmet, your PPEs would help you minimize this consequence, the severity of the consequence. We minimize how bad the injury will be. You hit your head against the wall, doesn't mean that you won't have some headache. But it only means that your head will not break. Look at the picture to the right-hand side of the screen. An unsafe condition was existing. A lift was about to take place. That box is about to be lifted from a truck by an IAB or a crane. However, even though the slings were put in the four corner, which is correct, there is already a crack in either around the chain or around the carabiner or the hook area there. Then a lift occurred. Suddenly, that box fell. Can you please go back? So that box fell. And the two guys that are working, can you please go back to where the picture is? The two guys that are working there, in the first picture, were lucky nothing happened to them. That's a near miss. In the second picture, they were moved away from that location in a body bag. They were crushed to death. What are we saying there? There could be unsafe acts. There could be unsafe condition. But what really lead to an accident or incident is the control. Is how we control the hazard away from the people or the people away from the hazard. How does your work affect your health? Depending on where you're working, either through biological hazard, chemical hazard, ergonomics, physical hazard, which include ergonomics, noise, vibration, ventilation, chemical hazard, including exposure to chemicals, respiratory problems, spillage, inhalation, which is of course respiratory, right? Air quality distortion, biological problem, including, disease, Legionella, and what have you, can actually cause your health to be negatively affected and could be short-term, acute, or long-term, chronic. We're saying that you should control the hazards that affect the body, whether in the short term or in the long term. In the long term, such as asbestos, exposure to noise from the generators, and what have you, and even use of bad seats, which could give some MSDs, musculoskeletal disorder in the lower back area. We should ensure that there is adequate surveillance of these factors that affect us. Surveillance means checking. So do you do inspection? Do you do audits? So if you carry out inspection and audits, you will quickly know that there are issues that need to be resolved. Next slide, please. If I'm going too fast, let me know. But I think we need to cover the key points, and you have the material to yourself so you can then read afterwards. Next slide. Who's sharing the slide for us? There are 4 ways by which chemicals can enter our bodies, can go into our bodies. First one is called inhalation. You breathe in the chemicals, whether they are aerosols, fumes, dust, fiber, liquid, vapor, gas, you're exposed to all this. So the ones that are in vapor form or gaseous form, you can breathe them in, which is inhalation, and it affects your health straight to the lungs, straight to the bloodstream. Absorption through the largest organ of the body, which is the skin, eyes or nose. Some of us are used to touching our eyes, our nose, picking the nose, and yeah. Remember during COVID, they told us to wash our hands how often? Regularly. Just keep washing. You know, everybody forgot about water efficiency, water resource. Just said health over environment at that time. Keep washing your hands. So your eyes, skin, and nose are entrance to absorb the chemicals. So if you have touched a chemical and you put your hand, your finger, you know, try to clean your eyes, the chemical will be absorbed through the eyes. If the chemical should pour on your skin, straight to the bloodstream, it is. And what have you? By ingestion, that's eating. Here we tell you that you should not eat in the lab. You won't listen.
Can't hear him again.
Hello.
Hello?
Welcome back.
Welcome back, sir. I think MTN does not want to celebrate Independence Day with us today. So I was saying something around ingestion, eating in the lab or after touching chemical. Please, let's make hand washing facility available around areas where we have chemicals, so that it will be easy for people to wash their hands, you know, against this absorption. But what is more important is for people to understand and know through information, instruction, signages, know that they cannot eat in the chemical handling area. Also, injection, where people actually, you know, use needle and syringe to get chemicals in their body, please, is not encouraged. Not even encouraged. It should be disallowed. Drug and alcohol abuse is a no-no in the workplace. And facility managers, please, let's take charge. You know, let there be a policy. So we take charge through leadership, through management or leadership commitments. Don't say it because you feel it's the good thing to do. Say it because you have sold the idea to the MD, to the most senior guy in the company, and you've told him that it will be good for us to have health and safety policy as well as drug and alcohol policy. So there it's already entrenched in both the employment letter, both the contract signed with the contractors or vendors or suppliers, and of course it becomes a norm in the premises that drug and alcohol, substance abuse is a no-no. And it should come straight with termination. I've seen scenarios where I perceived alcohol, from people's nose or mouth. And I have a session with them that, do you know that you are just about to lose your job? Whether I'm your manager directly or not, you are just about leaving the business. What do you tell your kids at home? Or how do you tell your wife that you cannot pay school fees again because you went to take action bitter? So what action are you trying to show me by being high? All right. In some cases, some people just need counseling. And if you see genuine repentance, okay. But if there's no genuine repentance, please, that person is a risk. Now, again, it depends on the job he or she is doing. When I was safety manager at MBC, Nigeria Boarding Company, Coca-Cola, 2016, I think, December 2016, I just sacked somebody, I took him out immediately. Then I had zero tolerance for things like this. Now, I can still call you, counsel you. At that time, I don't counsel anybody. If you do the wrong thing, you face the consequence, right? And it depends on the culture, it depends on what I'm seeing. I don't need to preach. I need to just do. I'm not here as a preacher of the word. I'm here as a doer. And the guy was driving a forklift. And I stopped him for some other reasons. Just stopped him. I was just doing my unannounced, unpredictable factory walkabout, which I still do to now, till this time. Right? I can just stand up and say, no, I want to get inside the factory. And there I go. All right. Then, of course, because nobody's expecting you to be there, you then see things. It's not a plan. It's not an announced, oh, I'm coming. Everybody prepare for me. No. And the guy was actually on drugs. Then there was still Boko Haram and Waterview, that side. And I think the guy threatened to deal with me. And I declare emergency, right? That I need to be taken out of Kano because somebody has threatened me. It was after all those acts and everything, to cut the long story short, it was after even police intervention that we realized that the guy is actually on drugs.
Hello, sir. We can't hear you again. Engineer Kolapo.
Network would have thrown him out.
I'm trying to see if I can join with another device because this is my third or fourth time I've been knocked out. Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, sir. Can hear you, sir.
We are hearing you now.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
I'm tired of the network. Okay. I said, I'm tired of the network. Okay. MTN. Okay. No wala. So anyway, so let me double up. So chemicals, chemical hazard, physical hazard, economics, biology. I think I've mentioned this before. Are things we should, look into and keep on red alerts in the workplace. Next slide, please. So our bodies react differently. Some could be irritated. Some chemicals actually, or they cause irritation. Some cause toxicity. They are toxic. Next slide. Is it that the slide is not changing? On what is changing the slide? Is the slide changing from your hand? Okay. So again, some chemicals, I said some cause irritation, toxicity, sensitization, and even cancer. All right. So depending on the chemicals that we are exposed to, there could be reactions in different or dynamic ways, which we need to understand. And one of the ways to do this is to read the MSDS, the material safety data sheet of the chemicals. With that, you're going to understand what each chemical, the hazard each chemical can cause. And that can help you to also understand what you should do in case of an emergency. 2 slides forward, please. Miracle, please. Change the slide. So the question is quite straightforward. We're asking who should be involved or who is involved in health and safety at work. Is everybody. Wherever you are, you have a role to play in occupational health and safety. Next slide. So you may be asking me, what role do you have to play? Why not identify the hazards? Even using this 10 energy source approach of motion. So to your right hand side, we say see it. See what? Motion. Anything that can move, like vehicles and everything, can actually cause an accident. Mechanical, anything that is rotating can cause an accident. Electrical, anything that has electricity or electrical current in there can cause an accident. Pressure, anything that is pressurized, such as our cooking gas cylinder and fire extinguishers, can explode and cause an accident. Temperature, when a space is too, an object or a space is too hot or too cold. So that when it's too cold, you have what we call the frostbite. When it's too hot, you have what we call the burns. All right. This is actually source of accident. Chemicals. Exposure to chemicals is quite dangerous. And if not managed carefully, it can lead to an accident. So to manage chemical, we ask you, Do you know the safe handling of chemical process, the shock process? All right. So can you handle chemicals safely? Are you familiar with the material safety data sheet of the chemicals? Are you familiar with the emergency response recommendation for the chemicals? So for chemical handling, we look at both the shock, SHOC, safe handling of chemical, and the COSH, control of substances hazardous to health. Both regulations can be Googled. You can Google COSH regulation, COSH regulation. And of course, SHOC, shock. You can even type shock card. That's a summary of instructions and information around how to safely handle chemicals. Biological hazard, including mosquitoes, Legionella in the water pipes, including even the rats that can help you, the rodents that can help you move, that can act as vector, including the housefly. So when you see the housefly, take it out. That's why if you go to, companies that have canteens, you see the insect catcher, electrocution, insect electrocution catcher that is hung even at the canteen. Radiation, exposure to radiation, either medical radiation like X-ray or industrial radiation like some of the filling machines. There are some machines that actually have X-ray in them. Not to talk of even photocopy machine. Right? This can lead to health hazards or safety hazards in the long run. Sound, which is noise, is an hazard that you need to look at, watch out for. And finally, anything that is hung above the head, or whether the thing is hung above the head or you are walking above the ground. In fact, we've added beneath the ground. So whether you are walking below ground level, which is a pit, or a gutter, or a trench, or you are walking above the ground level, which is walk at height, or something is hanging at height, which is object at height, either of these three situations can lead to an accident. I've stressed drug and alcohol abuse at work, which can also result in violence at work. All right. Of course, some of us know that inadequate rest can lead to stress and can lead to an accident. Any question at this point? Hello, guys.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Engineer, you can hear. Okay, I want to ask a
Yes,
question
sir.
about the sound part. What advice do you have to give to people that are constantly operating a heavy duty machine that is with a lot of sound, sir? Do you advise them to resign?
Okay. I don't have another
This
work
thing
for
is
them.
hazardous.
So if they resign, what would they be feeding on? All right. But I will tell them that they should acquire other skills, all right, including leadership skill that can. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
Okay, because the line is breaking here. So I was saying that I will only advise them to use their right PPEs, right? So the hand gloves, the ear muff or ear plug, and what have you. They should use those things. It will help them minimize the severity. Remember, I said PP does not change the occurrence, it will occur, but the severity will be reduced. But what I would then ask them, this set of people to do is to acquire more skills, especially if they are young. All right. When I say young, maybe below 50. All right. They should acquire more skills, including leadership skills that can make us promote them from operator to supervisors, such that they don't need to drive forklifts, tractors, dovers, bulldozers, I beg your pardon, as bulldozer and what have you. You don't need to drive that for 10, 15 years. It's a waste of time. All right. There's nothing you're trying to prove to me or to us by driving forklift for 10 years. From where I sit, even though experience is key, I don't see why you cannot acquire more skills and then, also then become supervisor and give direction and instructions. All right. But some of us are so complacent that it is fine. And they're boasting that they've been driving this for since 1995. It's nothing to boast about. All right. You don't need to drive forklift for 30 years. Just acquire more skills, get promoted, keep your heads down, stay humble, and we move together, right? And because there's what called the chronic impact on the health of the operator, right? So when the guy leaves the job and he has central nervous system issues, the CNS issues, those companies that used him for 30 years will not be there to to support medically. It will now be the kids, the children that will now be, supporting the father at that point. Right. So what I'm trying to say is when the hazard is too much, even some of us, you are saying some of us we go and sit down in the company and be operators, generator operators, machine operators for 15 years. Without apology, I will say again that that's wrong.
Go now.
You understand?
Who is holding you? Go.
Rita, please,
go,
can you
go.
be on mute? Rita, can you please go on mute?
I'm on mute, so on mute, so I don't know.
Okay, so what we're just trying to say is that, these hazards are real. Check it out. If you go to the bus park, interstate or whatever, and see those guys, the drivers they've been driving for 20, 30 years. You can tell for yourself and by yourself that you don't want to be in that situation. All right. Maybe they have different lifestyle. I agree. All right. But there are some health hazard outside with the occupation. You cannot be sitting down driving Lagos to Ibadan or Lagos to Abuja almost twice, 3 times a week and not have back pain. Is almost impossible. Is the hazard of the job. You cannot be operating jackhammer and not, have central nervous system issues. All right. Or even have pains, body pains, and then start living on tramadol. All right. Because at the point, Panadol will not do anything again. All right. So what we advocate is that there should be flexibility of occupation. The person should keep up to be able to do even more things so that as time goes on, the company can promote him or promote her into a less hazardous role. Next slide, please. Hello, next slide. So we say that accidents can then occur. And an accident is actually from the word incident. An incident is an incident, incident, is an unplanned and unwanted event which could lead either to a near miss or to an accident. It's something you don't want, that when it occurs, it will lead to an event. And that event can either be a near miss, meaning that it nearly happened, or a near loss, or an outright accident. We now say that an accident is that thing that you do not plan for. That whenever it occurs, it yields a consequence. It gives in to an unwanted event, which could be damages, injuries, deaths, loss of company reputation, loss of environmental protection, and a whole lot of others. But the theory is that accident, or the belief, let me use what theory now, belief of accidents. The belief is that accidents don't just happen. All accidents are caused, except for those that are act of God. All right. So you can, if you don't have a system in place to control over speeding by company drivers, then be sure that you have left those vehicles or the life of the staff into the hands of someone that will drive as he or she deems fit, into the hands of someone that will drive based on the mood for the day, based on the pressure that is facing as a driver. However, if there is policy, procedure, supervision, training, awareness, and what have you, and even empowerment in place, the driver will know that no matter what is happening at home or elsewhere, when he gets to work, he must do his job in line with the company expectation and policy. And he or she will also know that there's a consequence if it doesn't happen. All right. I've defined incidents for us. And we say that if there is an accident, it could be fatality, which is death. It could be serious injury, including permanent amputation or permanent disability. It could be minor injury. It could be first aid. It could be medical treated case. It could just be anything in terms of health and safety. It could be a loss of company reputation based on the social media damage, impact, image damage. It could be, or it could result even into a security issue, protest and breakdown of peace and harmony in the society or in the community. It could lead to damage to the assets. So an accident is not something we want. Next slide. Next slide, please. Yeah. So we're then saying that before any accident can happen, there would have been hazards that have gone either reported or unreported. So the best triangle 1969 says that before there could be one major injury, there have been 10 minor injuries, there have been up to 30 damages, asset damage. But there would have been 600 or more reported or not reported hazards. Is that people have reported that and there's no action that was taken? Or it has become part of the culture of the company and nobody even sees that anything is wrong with the absence of handrail on the staircase. Nobody sees anything that is wrong in the wearing of Dunlop slippers across the factory. And nobody sees anything that is wrong with the non-use of helmets on construction sites. All right. That even some of us, when we join, we just believe that that's where they do what they do. All right. And this can lead to an accident. Let me now shock you. It can jump quickly from an accident into fatality. Like something can happen now and somebody will just die. And it doesn't follow this approach of, okay, there should be minor injury before major injury. Whatever happened at Afriland Tower that led to that death did not happen yesterday. So it's not that maybe somebody reported something. No. It's just what it is. I think Miracle has network challenge right now. I can't see the screen any longer. But let me continue from here. So what we're then trying to say, all right, is that as facility managers, we must ensure that as soon as an hazard is reported, that hazard is closed. If there is no handrail somewhere, maybe on the 4th floor, there's a broken handrail, and somebody reported, yet nothing was done. They don't need to report it 100 times. You only take either the first person or the second person to notice it and fall off. All right. I'm trying to get to this slide where she is. So we're asking ourselves, do we need to okay, we're asking ourselves, do we need to investigate accidents? The answer is yes. We need to investigate all accidents. In fact, we need to investigate all near misses because near miss is just a potential. Near miss is an incident that did not result in any consequence. There was no damage or injury or death. That's all. So we need to understand when there is an incident. We need to understand what led to it. And we want to prevent accidents from occurring because we have what we call the duty of care, moral rights, or moral reasons for us not to have an accident. We cannot be a company that people will come into work in the morning and don't get back home. That cannot be our kind of company. That's not the company we want to run. All right. 2, there's what we call the financial implication. You can go to the next slide, Miracle. Because there is a cost of an accident. Safety is expensive, but it's not as expensive as an accident. So there is direct and indirect cost of an accident. And thirdly, there is legal reason why an accident, if it happens, it then become a problem. All right. So there is the cost of
Can't hear you, so.
Okay. Okay, is it better now? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Apologies, network is quite bad. I'm not close by. I'm in a very far away place. I'm in a remote area. Don't mind me. Okay. Let's continue. So we've spoken about, so there is direct, I said there is direct cost and there is indirect cost of an accident. That has been detailed in your manual. All right. So you can relate to even cost that has to do with government revenue, lack of tax, is a cost. Imagine there is an accident and the person's salary is stopped, automatically tax is stopped. All right. And government cannot meet their target again, just because of an accident. Same way, the person's commitment to society, whether church or mosques or what have you, he can't do that anymore. So I say that these accidents can be due to organizational factors, when there is lack of procedure or weak procedure. It can be even because of unsafe act and unsafe condition. But let me say this. So the Swiss cheese model, SWISS space CHEESE, the model. So Swiss cheese model told us is a barrier model. I think I thought that was yesterday or this morning in that class. That the barriers that prevent occurrence of an accident must be sustained. And these barriers are around people, process, the plants, that's the equipment, and the environment. And I knock that on the fish bone analysis, the Ishikawa, that says that, some of us will know about the 3M's, right? Okay, so we've expanded that to 5M's. That says that the man, the machine, the material, the method and measurement, the management system, as well as the environment are responsible for accidents. I say that again. The Swiss cheese model, Prof told us that people, process, The plants, which is the tools and equipment, the T&E, and the environment, which has to do with illumination, ventilation, stress, and whatever, are responsible for accidents. Organizational factors therefore fall under the process. The people, of course, can be the workers, can be the management. The plants are the tools, equipment, and instruments. Of course, the environment, including layout, lighting, illumination, ventilation, stress factors, and what have you, are responsible for accidents. You can see that I did not mention God. Abi? Fishbone analysis that we use for root cause analysis Kawishikawa told us that man, machine, material, method and measurement, management system, as well as the environment are causes of accidents. Some of us have gone to add motivation, which could include money, as a cause of accident in Africa. All right. And what we're saying is that if you do what we call an IFA, not IFA, IFA, in-depth failure analysis, you're going to realize, so we consult the IFA, the in-depth failure analysis model, you're going to realize that if we can strengthen the barriers around people, around the process, around the plants, and of course, the environment, we're going to be safe from accidents. And that's where we stand here this evening, FMs. Whether you are new to facility management or you are an experienced facility manager, or you're just here to just have an understanding of health and safety in facility management, the people, the process, the tools, equipment, and instruments, the environment are within our control, which also then mean that health and safety in the workplace is within our control. We need to stand up, we need to arise, and we need to act. I didn't say anything about security since morning, right? It's intentional, it's deliberate. Because until you do the risk assessment, facility risk assessment, FRA of your facility, or what some people call building risk assessment, which also incorporates health and safety and fire, you cannot and will not holistically know what are your top issues. Try and join me in class. I think I've asked that my Friday class be moved. I'll be on a flight on Friday. So please, Miracle, as discussed, reshuffle my Friday. All right. But so I think I have a class on Monday, then she will tell us when the next class is. Try and be in our emergency preparedness and business continuity planning class. There, I will take you through what we call a threat analysis, where we're going to be identifying the hazards that can happen in your workplace or the threats to your workplace. Not just the hazards that are specific to activities, but the holistic threats to your existence as a business from an health and safety risk point of view. So let me put that caveat. Because I can do the same thing from an environmental and social point of view. I can do that same thing from an enterprise-wide risk point of view. But that is beyond the scope of a facility manager. What is within scope as an FM will be from an health and safety and, of course, fire safety point of view to see, what can make us collapse as a business or what can pull us back as a business and what we need to do. Next slide on health and safety, please. I'm waiting. Next slide, please. They can read this on their own. Next slide, please. I can't be reading the definition for you. Hold on here. So, near miss reporting, we're saying that whether it results in an incident, in an accident or not, whether there's an injury or there is no injury, please investigate. And why do we investigate? Because we want to understand what caused the incident, the near miss. We want to understand what went wrong in a very non-punitive manner, without any punishment. We want to see what failed. Is it the man? Is it the machine? Is it the material? Is it the method? Is it the means of measurement? Is it the management system? Is it the motivation? Or is there an issue with the environment? We now say that there is an at-risk behavior, that on your unsafe act, that can lead into an hazard, up to a risk, that's a consequence, up to a first aid issue, up there from first aid to a medical treated case, from a medical treated case to a restricted work case, from a restricted work case to a lost time incident, and from the lost time incident to a fatality. Please, can you go a slide back so people can see what I'm talking about? So can you see this? Well, I know somebody is feeling like he or she is lost. From that unsafe act, it can lead to a near miss. From a near miss, it can lead into a minor accident, which is a first aid. If it's not a first aid, it could be a medical treated case. If it's not a medical treated case, it could be a restricted work case. So let me explain. So first aid, the person uses the first aid box and is released that same time, same day. Medical, the person went to the hospital but couldn't come back to work that day, and he or she comes back to work there the following day or 2 days after, not on the third day. You see a work case, the person came back to work maybe after 48 hours, but cannot do the same exact duty that he used to do before or she used to do before. So the difference between medical treated case, MTC, and restricted work case, RWC, is that for medical treated case, the person came back to work, but was able to resume at his or her desk, carrying out the same tasks. For a restricted work case, the doctor has advised that this person needs to work for just 2 hours per day or 3 hours per day. This person cannot do the same thing. So if he had an ankle injury and maybe he's a machine operator or is a technician, then you need to reassign him to another task. That's a restricted work case. Days away from work, all right, lost time injury or lost time accident. The person did not die, but the hand is broken and it will take some days, some months, some weeks to heal up. So he cannot come to work. The person may even have disability. Maybe he has broken or maybe the machine has cut his finger or his hand. That's why he cannot even come back to work. And the baba of them all, fatality, which is death, you cannot see the person anymore. That was the last time you don't see him working in that workplace. I think it's clear, right? So, and whatever the situation, we must investigate what went wrong. Next slide. So we investigate and listen so that we can determine the facts. Like I said, it's not punitive. It's not that I want to blame anybody, but fact is determination. We find the root causes so as to prevent a reoccurrence, and we share the lessons learned. It's clear? Determine the facts. Don't blame anybody. Because that's not the purpose. Find the root cause, prevent a reoccurrence, and share lessons learned. Next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. Any question? Any question? So let me continue. So for our risk management process, we must identify the risks. That blue, identify the risks. After identifying the risks, you evaluate or assess it. Then you put in commensurate level of control. Then you check the strength. You check the integrity of the control you have put in place. So you identify, you assess, you control, and you review controls. Next slide. Someone is asking me, how do we identify controls? And how do we identify the risks or the hazard? We said it already when we said that you should look at the motion, the mechanical, the electrical, the pressure, the temperature, the chemical, the biological, the sound, the gravity, the 10 hazards. And with that, we're able to identify what's about to go wrong. Then you evaluate it. I told you again there are five steps. Let me recap. What can go wrong? 5 steps of risk management. Evaluation. Understand what can go wrong. How likely can it go wrong? How seriously will it be if it goes wrong? How many people will be involved? And what are we doing right now that will make us not experience these unplanned events? You've evaluated. After that, you're going to do what? Apply controls. Control the risks. How do you control? Hierarchy of controls. What are the hierarchies? Write it down or write them down. 5, elimination of the hazard or risks. Substitution of the hazard. Number 3, engineering control, either by guarding or by isolation. Is that you prevent the people from touching the hazard, or you prevent the hazard from being released to the people? Is that you prevent the hazard from being released to the environment, or you protect the environment against the hazard? You guard, or you do what? Or you isolate. There's something that we used to say. We say we have a security guard. In Yoruba, we even say we have a may guard. All right. You are guarding. The security guard is at the security gate, protecting the hazard, which could be thief or what have you, from getting in touch or coming into the house to meet the people. All right. But you also have burglary proof. that prevent the people from even coming out to meet the hazard. So it is by guarding and by isolation. You can isolate, lock the hazard where it is, and apply lockout, tag out, and try out approach, the low total. Or you fence off the people such that the hazard cannot touch them and they cannot even touch the hazard. That's guarding. You guard. Guarding. After you've done that, you then apply administrative control. I'm explaining hierarchy of controls. I've said that. Go a slide back. I don't mind even closing here. Go a slide back. They need to get it. Identify the risks by applying that tender wheel with that circle we have seen it. That wheel that has motion, mechanical, electrical, what again? Pressure, temperature, chemical, biological, radiation, what again? Sound, and let me recall, sound, and the final one, gravity. All right. So I've counted the 10 for you now. The 10 energy sources, the 10 specific areas where hazard can be released. And so after you've done that, what do you then do? You assess the risks. How do you assess? Motion, what can go wrong? The car is being driven by an untrained, unlicensed driver or inexperienced driver. That's the event. So what can go wrong? Loss of control. So I won't say an accident. Loss of control of the car while on the highway. What's the likelihood that loss of control will happen? Again, it depends on who is driving, right? And where he's driving the car. You can say it is very likely. That's a 4/5 on a scale of 1 to 5. Then we say that, okay, if it happens, what's the worst case? What's the worst can happen? The car can actually be written off. So you can say it can lead to fatality. Straight up. That's a 5/5. Then how many people can be involved? First question is, how many people is the guy carrying? Is he the only one? Or is even carrying some people, maybe passengers? Whatever the answer is, he then put it. He's carrying more than one person. That means we are looking for, we are already seeing multiple fatality. Then what mitigation control do we have in place? Do we have maybe speed breaker? What do we have? I mean, we don't even have anything. We don't have anything, it's fine, you say nothing. What it means is that I've assessed the risks, and the risk of that car crashing is very high. The risk of you receiving a phone call that the person is dead is very high. He's not trained, he's inexperienced. Maybe when we even take it through the barriers, which is the control risks now, which I'm explaining. Elimination, you cannot eliminate, the guy is gone. Substitution, you're supposed to change the driver, but he has even left you. Or let's say the guy has not even started the journey. He's just about to start. And that's when you are assessing this, which is the best before it happens. So elimination, must they travel with that car? Yes. So can they go with train or aeroplane or what? No, they cannot. Substitution, you have another car. The car is not the problem, it's the human being that is the problem. So can we change the person that is the driver? Maybe because he's trained, but he's not familiar. Or he's a new guy, he's a newbie, he's not even trained. You're not even certain that this guy can drive. Or you've perceived that he's under the influence of drug and alcohol. So you want to substitute him. Let's say you cannot substitute him. Okay, he's not under the influence of drug and alcohol, but he's not familiar with the road. Then engineering control. Is there anything we can do engineering-wise so that the guy does not oversee? Hello. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I was just talking about the so I was just talking about the controls, right? Administrative control, training, awareness, information, instruction, supervision, and what have you. Then, of course, you ask people to use their seat belts as PP. And if you have a tracker, you can put a tracker on the car. If, like I said, a speed limiter can be there that you will not even allow the guy to go above maybe 80, And if there is, I think somebody said speed alarm system, you can have that. And you keep monitoring these controls to see if it's effective. Even if the accidents will still happen, the impact will be minimal versus if you did nothing, versus a do nothing situation. Okay? Next slide. Okay. So I think I've explained this before to say the load fell down, there was a near miss, and there was an accident. The guys were crushed. Okay, so if you look at this, they tried to lift, and they tried using two cranes. All right, but what I don't know is if the weight of the pipe can be lifted by the two cranes. So it's not about quantity, health and safety. It's about quality. Having two cranes for this operation does not mean that the operation is safe. All right, so we need to watch that. Okay. Next slide. So they were there, people were on the scaffold, the pipe fell on the scaffold, everybody is running a skater, trying to survive, trying to stay alive, trying to avoid seeing their great grandfather and what have you. Next slide. This guy, I don't know what they are doing, because an ambulance should be on his way, or he should be on his way to the ambulance should be on his way to him, or he should be on his way to the hospital. All right. But I don't know what that guy is holding his chest, holding his hand. They want to remove his trouser. I don't know. Trying to remove his. But everything they are doing here, if there's what called lifting plan. If they have actually planned that job, this will not happen. And in planning, you're looking at what can go wrong. Can this crane fail? In fact, in load planning, we even try to know what's the weight of what they want to carry. And see, okay, what are the capacities of the crane that we should bring, and not just go get two cranes, quantity over adequacy of the crane. Next slide. So I want to say this before, I know it's 7 o'clock already. So there are 3 phases in practice. So we are being practical now. In practice, we say, oh, there is a job that I want to do. There is a project we want to proceed with. There are 3 phases of hazard analysis. There's what we call the loss prevention plan phase, which is the planning phase. And here, the project has not started. The vendor has not come to site. The contractor is still has not even mobilized. All right. And what do we do here? We invite the contractor to come with his engineers and safety officer, and senior guys that will be on the project to inspect the job that will be done in order for us to identify opportunity areas based on the word method. So what are you going to do? How do you want to do it? This is where you want to paint. This is where you want to break. And they look at the environment and we make some decisions at that point. At this phase, you are planning. Documents have not been sent. Maybe in their mind, they want to use a ladder to access height. But on coming, they could see that the ladder will be of high risk. So they rather do a fixed scaffold. Or they could see that the scaffold, if they want to use a scaffold, that the scaffold will not be stable. They want to use a mobile elevated work platform, a MUSE, such as scissors lifts, such as a journey boom. All right. After that, we move into the permitting phase. Now they are ready to mobilize to sites. What do? They collect work permits if our operation is a work permit system controlled operation. Or better still, they submit a job safety analysis document that has factored the risks, how they want to do the job, the step-by-step activities, the hazard involved in those step-by-step, the risks of those hazards, the controls they want to put in place to prevent the hazard from happening, and of course, the mitigation, recovery. Okay, in case this now happen, this is what we're going to do. When you are okay with that plan, you then ask them to come. That's why you see that in green. That's when the green then happens, green light. We then ask them to come. Maybe I'll change this slide to a RAG model, a traffic light model, red, orange, and green, right? Or red, amber, and green. So there is the implementation phase, which is that they should come to site, they should come and work, but every day they should think incident-free. They should hold toolbox meeting, talk to themselves about the job, take an approach called the 5x5 step back, where you take 5 steps back and you think for 5 minutes on how this job will be safely done. And of course, having that belief that safe work is possible and zero accidents is possible. It's 7 o'clock already, guys. I don't want to keep you waiting too long on this call. Go one slide forward. Let me see. There's one place I wanted to leave them. No, don't want me. Go. Let me see. They can read this. Go. No, what happened to this slide? It's broken. Go. Okay, yeah. So let me close on this slide, or maybe on this. Please permit maybe under 5 minutes. We'll close for the day. HAZID, the hazard identification tool, I've explained, but let me re-explain. That it provides you with a method to identify the energy sources in your environment. Enable you to identify the potential hazard associated with each energy source. It will enhance your hazard assessment skill through knowledge and integration of this tool. Motion, mechanical, electrical, pressure, temperature, chemical, biological, radiation, sound, and gravity. Next slide. Let me just use one to explain. Next slide. I won't define what's an hazard. Hold on. Remember, I've explained this hierarchy of controls. So I don't come here and say they didn't teach us. All right. Elimination, substitution, engineering. I said engineering. I even added guarding, including isolation and putting a guard and guarding. I said control, including the information, instruction, training, and supervision, competency of the worker, permit to work system, awareness on the job. Then PPE. Then I'm saying that ensure you remove the energy source as much as you can. If you can't, prevent its release, isolation. If you can't prevent its release, protect from release, guarding. Hello. And finally, stop work authority. If it's not safe, don't do it. And don't let others do it. Because safety first, safety of, don't do it. And don't let others do it. You know why? If you allow them to do it, they will do it at that time when the guy will drop something from top of the scaffold that will then, come near you. We are saying that so many things can interact. Chemical and gravity, temperature and chemical, sound and motion, motion and mechanical, mechanical and electrical. Everything can interact, all right? Make sure you keep yourself safe, prevent the release, protect yourself from the release, and institute what we call SWA order or, policy, stop work authority, signed by the MD, that anybody that sees an unsafe work in this facility should stop it and report to the facility manager or the health and safety personnel. Official, signed off, report to the supervisor. And you will realize that there will be more safety than ever in your facility. Next slide. Okay, so let's use gravity to explain, then I close for the day. We can meet some other time. The force of gravity, we know, anything that, no matter who's holding it. Example is a falling object, a collapsing roof, somebody tripping or falling, just be clicking. Things will be dropping on this slide. Next, please. Just click. One click. Yeah. Example up. Your mechanic. Hello. Head back. Hello.
We are here. Hi.
Hello. Who is there? To gravity. Back to gravity. But the slide is too fast for me. One slide back again. So that mechanic guy, yeah, okay. That mechanic guy walking under your vehicle is actually putting you, there is no support. So after removing the tire and jacking it up, and the vehicle is actually on an hydraulic, and the guy that will come down and press. If I can't allow this happen, mechanic allowing facility, I will kill you. I find echo and walk you out. Or my premises and send me to jail. I won't go to jail. You go before city manager. I'm even working. If I leave the manager, I could just come to your site to visiting. And I see somebody doing something wrong, I will stop. You even be one that was wrong, Kolapo. I will stop, go and tell him or her to leave that activity. Because I won't even tell you. Because the time I'm using to explain to you, anything can happen. So I won't stop the work. Stop work authority. I have it. Whether your company believe it or not, it's not my own business. But I cannot write statements. So I will stop the work, ask the guy to come down, then I will now explain to you guys. Then whether you now take it or not is under conversation. When I leave, you can continue whatever you are doing. But I will have duty of care as a licensed health and safety professional to educate you on health and safety whenever I see an hazard. At times, people laugh. I can even be in the market and I see something that is wrong. And I'll put the person and tell the person, oh, this, and I move. Do something else. No, but that or not leave is another conversation. Jacked very or spring jack, it can fail. Something an anchor system or a either wooden or iron support system should be put under the vehicle before anybody can stay there. All right. So this is live example. When you saw gravity in your mind, you are like, what are they talking about? But see that guy that is climbing the cat ladder, he can fall. So what do we ask him to do? Go with your ladder. Is that a picture at the middle, offshore, people and woman baskets that is being lifted by a crane, onto their from a vessel, from a woman transport vessel into the offshore, which is fine. But if they don't wear the life jackets and that rope should snap and they fall in the water, they will not be found. Okay? So it's not between that they find him and he's dead. They won't even see his dead body. At least they are able to bring somebody home, dead or alive. But if he fall there because he's not using his life jackets, anything, and an incident happened, but he was not using his life jacket, so he could not be recovered. Or he's not trained on how to swim. So no boats yet, approval, nothing. And he sure. Stop now. Next is about the motion. A moving vehicle. You have seen where people park the vehicle, no handbrake, and the vehicle is not even on gear 1 as a manual. To put the vehicle under force to stay. We've seen where vehicle can talk to the slide. We see okay, I'm back, but I think I should just close. It's 15 minutes past 7. I have another call I need to join again. Okay, so I think. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I think it's important that let's take a look at this. The examples are clear. the examples we documented here are very clear. Yes, talk to me, please. My network is I'm in a remote village. Don't worry. My network is very bad. MTN is not helping. All right. But so we can actually read this, and we'll be sure that if there are questions, maybe in another class on Monday, I think I have a class with you on Monday, you can bring those questions. Maybe the first 10, 15 minutes, I can kill them. Then we can then start the class. All right. So thank you so much for your time. The network is actually killing my joy too. Salif, we said it's killing your joy. Is frustrating, but it is what it is. All right. Is there any question before I go? Hello. Hello. I think that there are no questions, right? Yeah. So go through the slides. They are self-explanatory. All right. But I think what you need, I've told you, which is around the identify the risks, assess, control, review. All right. I've even told you all the methods that you need to do this. All right. At least at your level, right? That you can apply to work tomorrow morning, right? But if you go through these documents, if you have other questions, when we meet on Monday, you can then share with me. All right. Then we run another class, either the emergency class or the fire class. All right. All right, guys. I think people are leaving already. I know it's past time, but it's fine. Miracle, are you there?
Yes, I'm with you, sir.
Okay.
All
So
right.
do you want to
Thank you
close
very
the
much for the class, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Thank you everyone for joining today's section.
Yeah.
See you next class.
Thank you, ma.
And
Thank you,
please,
sir.
let's not forget to do our assessment before the next class and also fill the feedback survey.
All right. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye bye. Take care. Thank you.